only Christ can truly satisfy. Not album sales, not the job you have or the school that you go to or your relationship status. Those things are cool, but ultimately Jesus is the main satisfaction.
This is a story of Shehan Otupe, also known as S.O.
Martin had a dream, Martin had it. Now I'm living out my dreams through the rapping. Fly across the world like Aladdin with the baggage and tell people what matters I imagined it would happen. Yeah, before it was racking up cheese, never bagging up weed, wasn't acting on street. It was bad enough thinking that I lacked, but trust me, I was acting up, defining what it meant to succeed in the worst way. Cause on my worst day, I was living better than most, so I developed the flow. Fought jealousy, cause jealousy won't make me a no. Now what I know got me traveling the globe. Man, look at Grace though, because it could have been case closed. Sad song.
S.O. was born Shehan Otupe on December 5th, 1988, in Ibadan, Nigeria, but raised in the major city of Lagos. His father worked in advertising and mother was an accountant. The family had a nice living and went to church together. And then his parents decided that a British education would provide more opportunities for the two youngest children. So Shehan, his mom, and one of his older sisters moved to London, while his dad and his other sister stayed in Lagos.
What that curse do? Oh yeah, we fallen humans. Without Christ, we'll just fall and ruin our relationships. See what we make of it without him. At the him, holding everything together, thinking we can do it better. Like the I am ain't greater than me, greater than we. See the ape in the trees, in the seas. He's able to read A to the Z's. We deceased, but God is eternal. Here is the crease. I pray I decrease in my life. He's making me over. Grew up in the faith as a faithful soldier. Any battle that I face with Jehovah. They say they waiting on the kid, where the wait is over. Is this the end? I tell them never. I hope.
So what happens in certain countries is, parents or a parent may move to another country to lay the foundation, prepare the land, so to speak, so that the rest of the family can come through and, have a better lifestyle, or for whatever reason. Maybe it's not a better lifestyle, or maybe they can come and go to school and so on and so forth. That's what it was for us, Our lifestyle in Nigeria was good. We had a bigger room, nice car. It was good, And my family decided to move to London for education. And then what the plan was that when we got older, my mom would move back to Nigeria to be with my dad, to go back and be with her husband. And when we got older, we're able to go to university by ourselves and, kind of fend for ourselves. We can look after ourselves. But fortunately, that never happened.
As Shehan was excited to be in London, there was a bit of a culture shock, and he was made fun of for having an accent, but that didn't last for too long. From grade school all the way up to college, Shehan received a proper British education. His parents' plan was almost at full fruition. His mother was a couple years shy of sending her youngest, Shehan, off to college, and she moving back to Nigeria to be with her husband. But that plan was interrupted when she got word that her husband had passed.
Pops told me that no is no, and slow your roll, young so-and-so. That's the lesson that I'm getting from a brave man. Now his body's in the grave, how low is low. You get the message, I ain't messing when I say fam. He died, so every night that I cry, waking up with wet sheets, tears flow from my eyes, mother getting less sleep. I'm near to my demise, it's clear it gets deep. This caught us by surprise in a minute. Went from wife to widow in an instant, do you get it? In my plight, his pictures are a witness, trying to scrimmage for hope, hearing the minutes.
So my dad was on his way to Ibadan, where I was born, to, complete a business transaction. And he, so I think either something happened to his brakes or the car, and it flipped over numerous times, and he passed away. But then the person that he traveled with didn't, which is even more difficult. And so I remember just getting a knock on the door and people come into the house and, telling my mom that, the whole church essentially, like all of my mom's church just came through and just, told her the bad news essentially. And yeah, man, it was a really, really difficult time, and it still is. People ask me, like, can you get over those type of things? I don't think you get over them. You just kind of learn to deal with it every day. And, me and my dad were close. That was a friend of mine, you know what I mean? And, we bounced ideas. We had dreams. We had visions for things that we wanted to do. And so, not having them around, especially in a time like this, it's very difficult. He hasn't seen me become a man, which I guess is like the hardest thing of it all. Like, he hasn't seen me like grow up, and not just music, but could get educated, and things that he worked hard for, and like the morals that he instilled in me as a young boy. Me still living out those morals now, not being captured by anything. You know what I mean? And so it's tough, man. Like in the blink of an eye, you become fatherless. Your mom becomes a widow. Your sisters lose their father, and so we still deal with them, man. Just thank God that God is a father to the fatherless, and a defender of the widows. And so, I'm just grateful that I have a father in heaven. But I won't, pretend like every day is a bed of roses, because it isn't. In all honesty, I probably would have told my dad, like, listen, it's not worth it. I know you want to like bring us here to give us better opportunities, and you got, because he had to work from the ground up, like literally, to become the businessman, own the advertising company, all that stuff. So he was trying to give us a leg up than what he got. But I would tell him now, like, listen, it's actually not worth it, because what matters more is your family. And you don't want to separate us for the sake of insert whatever, because what's more important is family than educational opportunities. And that's what I would say.
Barefoot man, show it, have that cross up in your face. Endure and know him. Be strong in the grace that's found solely in him. Satan will play tricks by reminding you of your sin, but he died for them all. Remember Calvary again. Never let it leave your brain. The things will never be the same. The Lamb of God was truly slain, rose up from the grave though, and justified in his name. Up the praise go. Yeah, and that will never change. This that high up on the ride that I better crave. My help and my God who was set the stage, and the spirit in I know better way.
I get low, I get high, but I keep my hands to the sky. Like what you're hearing so far? Check us out at testimonystories.com.
That's testimony stories with an S.com.
Where you can hear content for you and about you. Everyone has a testimony. Everyone has a testimony. And we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and
A
listen.
musician's story.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Esso, and right now you're listening to Testimony, a musician's story.
But I don't do that there though. Leg up. At times my face get low and my face it just shows. Though the statement's bold, I'ma say it because I know I gotta show off in Christ. I gotta show off in Christ. I gotta show off in Christ. Plus he promised eternal life. Though some nights get bleak, there are days that get cold. I will rest in the wings of the Savior because I know
Shayon grew up in the church. He was in the choir and youth group, but he was merely a participant, not a Christian. About a year or so before he lost his father, he gave his life to Christ. That was brought about by a death of a dear friend.
So growing up in youth in the church, heavily involved in youth ministry, so on and so forth, but I still wasn't a Christian. That's a fact. I had a close friend, Sania, who unfortunately died in her sleep. And yeah, man. But at that point, as I said, I wasn't a Christian, but I knew I wanted to serve God. But I didn't want to serve God at that time. I wanted to wait till I was older because those are the Christians I saw. I only saw older Christians. I ain't see any young ones. And I thought nobody dies when they're young. I thought, what, I'll wait. Let me do everything I want to do now because, my life is in my hands. And so I can just do my own thing. But God had other plans. And yeah, when she passed away, man, that foundation just shattered. It wasn't shocked. It just broke right in front of me. Because there I was confronted with the reality that you can die when you're young. And it's not somebody that's far away and distant. This is someone I saw last week or the week before that carried her baby. I went to get her exam results with her. I was the first person, she sat me and my mom down to tell us that she was pregnant. You know what I mean? Like we were tight, like real good friends, and so when that happened, I mourned a lot. I always say that death has been a great teacher to me. And so you fast forward a couple months and the Lord's just working in him hard, letting me see my sin for what it is, letting me see that tomorrow's not promised, that I will be judged for my actions. And then he just draws me to himself. You know what I mean? He draws me to himself through the gospel. I heard the gospel clearly. I was impacted by it.
Young Shayon loved music. He was influenced heavily by Western music, particularly American hip-hop. In fact, it influenced him so much that at the age of 6, he spit a nursery-type rhyme at his grandma's birthday.
Word. I've been reading that word, living that word, digging that word, giving that word.
I got you.
Word on my lips, the words in my palm, words in my mind. Yeah, word is bond. I've been reading that word,
$5 mixtape.
Digging that word, giving that word.
Louise, I see you.
My grandmother, she always takes pride in that, like knowing that I said my first rap at her birthday 20 years ago. It was her birthday, man. I just, did something. I don't even know if it was probably the worst rap ever. And I said, yeah, Grandma. Sorry, I don't even want to repeat that. Nope, no, thank you. But, that was the beginning of it. And then I decided, over the years, my dad introduced me to it. We played a lot of music in the house, Bob Marley, Boyz II Men, Michael Jackson, bunch of rap, everything. And so I came from a musical family background, quote unquote, in terms of just playing music, being heavily influenced by music. And so when I came to London, my dad would always send me CDs so I can just listen to what's out, and then battle rap was a big thing. 8 Mile came out, started battle rapping in the playground in secondary school. And then I became a believer. I didn't want to rap anymore. So I took a year out just to kind of be a Christian, learn what it meant to be a Christian. And yeah, a year later, I met a group called New Direction Crew out of the UK. They're a collective of artists, rappers, producers, and a singer. And it just took me under their wing. Fast forward, I graduated in 2010. I released my first ever mixtape called the 5 Solas mixtape. And then after that, Lamp Mode expressed interest in signing me. And so I said no at first because I didn't know if I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a missionary because I was reading a lot of Elizabeth Elliot. But I spoke to my pastor, spoke to my mom, my sisters, and a few of my friends. And, they told me go for it. And so I did.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and
A
listen.
musician's story.
Connect with Testimony, a musician story through social media. Find links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more at testimonystories.com. A musician's story. Esso's The Five Solace mixtape made it across the pond and into the American ears of Lamp Mode Records. They reached out to him and became their first international artist. Now Esso is on the roster with one of his favorite artists, Shylin.
I'm serving the I am, the one who is eternal and determines my time span. My time is in his hands, I'm a man so I can't say I have existed before. No, in existence I'm insistent, God isn't me, but he is he who was infinite, made all we can see.
I was in university and I was playing a lot of Shy, playing a lot of The Atonement, a lot of Christian hip-hop actually at that point. And yeah, Shy was big. You know, I was studying theology, and so, you know, listening to a lot of Shy, that helped me kind of navigate through a bunch of the things. And then, you know, here we are, fast forward some years later, I'm signed to the same label that he's signed to, which is weird. You know, it's funny when like the people you looked up to kind of become your peers, and just being thankful to God about, you know, where I'm at and the place that I'm at, the position that I have. And like, it's weird, you know, only God could write this story. And because I know I definitely couldn't write the story as it is right now, and only God could do that.
When God says I am, think self-existent. He needs no help, cause listen, he's self-sufficient. The only autonomous being in the universe. No food or thirst, and everything is truly first. And actually, he's not in the universe, he's beyond the universe. It's his space and time to disperse. Go back as far as you could possibly go. Before the Big Bang, the I am was stopping the show.
This story that God has written for Esso has taken him all over the world, including his motherland, Nigeria, a place that he least expected to know his music.
They're not gonna know my music. They don't know no so it none. You know, then I get there and then they know every word. They're singing the word, and I'm like, oh snap, what's happening? Yeah, that was weird, and that was humbling. And like talking to a lot of the artists, I was like, you know, I was just warning them against, you know, the sin of idolatry. And I was like, yo, don't fall into that trap where you idolize people in the West because you want to be like them. And when you realize that, hold on, actually, we're nothing special out here. You know what I mean? Like, God has you where you are for a specific purpose, for a specific reason. So serve him there. And if he chooses, you know, to open platforms in different countries, then go there. You know, if not, then continue serving him where you are. You get me? So that was good though. It's good to go. I'm trying to go back again ASAP. I want to have a concert in Lagos. That's where I want to have my concert. Just so that like my cousins can come, and I got aunts, like people who just haven't seen this, you know, they haven't experienced this, and they can kind of like see remnants of my pops in me, you know, and be like, you know, that's Ade's son or whatever, you know, and so that's what I'm trying to. I want to do a concert in Lagos so badly. It's unbelievable.
I go all powerful, awesome, sovereign, father to the widow and the orphan. Create a revolve outside my window, ruler of even narrow. Wait, did you get the memo? Cause the maker of intricate design, and you claiming you a Libra, but you will not see the sign. See the sun and it shine, see your son and he signs, but you still will not believe. I should cease and decide, but the logos, this is not a low blow, but he is nothing like Muhammad. Say it if you don't know. The God in the flesh, that is so dope. Ain't no other God who can test them, they are so cold. He's living, alive and kicking away.
Testimony.
A musician's story. Testimony, where Christian hip-hop artists give you an exclusive look into their lives and their music. Take a journey into the minds of today's top Christian hip-hop artists as they open up and share about their past, their faith, and their music in ways you've never heard before. Put on your favorite pair of headphones or turn the stereo volume up and listen.
A musician's story.
Everyone has a testimony, and we want to hear yours. Tell us how God has transformed your life. Each month, we will select a person to highlight and interview. Find out more at testimonystories.com.
Testimony.
Download the podcast of Testimony, a Musician Story on iTunes. Find out how at testimonystories.com.
A musician's story.
Wish that I could show you all just how much I care. Thought of losing all, it's my fear, but where do we go from here?
So Essa was born in one country and moved to another country and is signed to a record label in a totally different country. That is 3 countries that he has loved ones inhabiting. Additionally, he travels internationally for his music. Esso is essentially a nomad. This lifestyle has taken a toll on his relationships. He desires to plant roots in America and to finally be able to call a church his home.
Where I'm at as an artist, being like, okay, cool, you're growing in your artistry, the platform seems to be getting bigger, but what are you going to focus on? What are you going to keep? What's going to be the main thing in your life? What are you going to keep the main thing, which is family. So for me, when everything is said and done, when music is said and done, when I'm no longer traveling, so on and so forth, like, I don't want to be a stranger to the people that I love. That's the main thing. Like, I don't want to be a stranger to the people that I love and I care deeply about. So I'm actually although I am trying to move to America and all of that stuff, being here now, being home, I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to spend time with my family. I'm trying to engage in conversations with my mom and my sister and my unborn niece or nephew, that's coming soon and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be present, especially when I'm present, So yeah, this life ain't glamorous, man. Like, I came back to my house and I was like, man, I don't even know if this feels like home anymore because I've been away for 4.5 months.
His latest album, So It Ends, is a conclusion to a trilogy that included So It Begins and So It Continues. This project has struck a chord with a lot of people because it primarily focuses on relationships.
Where do you run to when the doors close? And who do you call on when it all goes wrong? The devil is telling me to feed my fears. Why don't you pack your bags and disappear? I'd rather give it to Listen, I could have been married now. What happened to it? Many ups and downs, still I wonder how I blew it. If I did, live with regrets, God forbid. I thought we were next up to take that step on the grid. We were, from having some meetings that were deceiving to cancel the engagements with no valuable reason. Oh, you would treat
Me and my girl now, we could have been married at like 2 years ago, and like it's clear now that wasn't the right time for a number of reasons. But it's just weird because in hindsight, you look at it and you see God working. Like, probably if I was married, I don't think I'll be in this. I don't think I'll be here right now, aiming to be wanting to be an artist and growing in my artistry. I don't think I'll be here doing that because I'll be a school teacher when I was teaching. That took my time. So most of those songs where I mentioned stuff like that was me really venting, being super upset. Like, man, like, we had this plan, we had this thing going on, and for whatever reason, we broke up and we weren't together for over a year. And then, we got back together this year and working on future things. And it's funny how there are so many people that's happened to. People like, yo, I relate to that SO. And I'm like, bro, I just wrote a song, man. I was just venting. And what that really is especially on a song like Give It to God, it's in those moments where there's pain and suffering and heartache. What's our response? What do we do when things aren't going our way? Do we just wallow and listen to ourselves? and listen to our depressing thoughts and let the devil feed us with lies? Or do we go to the Lord in prayer? Do we pray without ceasing? You know what I mean? What do we do in those moments? And by the grace of God, at some moments of that time, I ran to God in prayer. You know what I mean? And that's what I felt so much comfort in that. I felt peace. I felt like God's going to deal with this. Outside of like the reality of those songs, what's the viewpoint of a Christian in that time? It's to run to God in prayer.
How it feel like chasing the wind, homie. Woo. Don't we do it all the time? We never chase God, but think that the women or the money will forever satisfy. That ain't what we were designed for. And I can tell you that with my eyes closed or blindfolded, yeah, it's mind blowing. Our souls need God, cause he that there I know. Brother, yes, I know that you can hold that. One of my close friends felt so whack. She slept with many men, only uses an end. And now she feel empty and so jacked up. She ain't content with her soul lacks. It's water that lives, bring the flow back. And like the woman at the well who couldn't do it herself, but found that Christ can truly satisfy.
Nobody else. I said that only Christ can truly satisfy. Nobody else. I said that only Christ can truly satisfy.
I want the takeaway from this album to be that only Christ can truly satisfy. Not album sales, not the job you have or the school that you go to or your relationship status. Those things are cool, but ultimately Jesus is the main satisfaction. He's the one who should satisfy us. Let me say that. He's the one who should satisfy us. And hopefully as you listen to my testimony and you hear my story in my album, you see that he is indeed our satisfaction. You know what I mean? And he's the only one who can be our satisfaction. Everything we chase just may be satisfied for the moment, but it won't satisfy forever.
Taking the time to reflect on his life, where he came from, where he is at, and where he wants to be, has been a valuable learning tool for Esso. His testimony and this album, So It Ends, is a testament to the power of letting it go and giving it to God.
All rise, hands high, you and I relate. Yeah, you feel like there's no time to waste. No, 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 no. Friends keep acting out of place. Yeah, yeah. They keep telling you to wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Wait.
Grew up in Nigeria, you know, we worked our way up as well, you know, like there was a point we had no bed, you know, like people don't know that, like there was a point we had no bed to sleep on, and like my dad worked, my mom worked, but we worked really hard to work our way up. And coming from Nigeria, moving to London and then living in the council flat, and then dad passing away, not knowing what you're going to do, and you become a believer thinking you're going to do one thing, and then God has a totally different plan for you. And so, like, that to me is just reflecting on how far I've come. God, only you can write the script. You know, I can't write this. Whatever it is, when all is said and done, like, I can't be the one to say that I wrote the script. I can't be the one to say that, yes, I did this. I orchestrated these moments. I can say that God did that, you know. And so I'm just thankful, man. I'm praying like real much, so much, being like, Lord, I don't want to mess this up. You know, I want to use this for your glory.
Thank you for listening to Testimony, a musician's story. To hear this episode again, as well as past episodes, visit testimonystories.com. Until next time, I'm Brown Theory, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.